welcome to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be ranking 19 holiday eyeshadow palettes from the worst to the best. This is my monthly ranking series where I rank all of the palettes that I've tried. This time it's 2 months worth. I will say I did leave a few palettes out because they were just random ones that I tried that weren't new or holiday related, so I will talk about those in next month's palettes rankings. So most of these are holiday-y kind of launches. There's so many good ones. Let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the worst palette that I tried this month. And this is 19 and 18. They go hand in hand. I do not recommend these, unfortunately, from House Labs. Both of them are just not my style. I would say the one I like the least is the one I'm the most disappointed by. This is the number 2, the Super Neutrals. So this looks so stunning. I love this color story, but you can watch my review and see this in action working here. So the mattes are very, very sheer and they don't build up in pigment. And these shimmers, they are a doozy because you will be tricked by these. They will swatch super pigmented, super thick, but truthfully, when you get them on the eyes, they aren't as vibrant and they fade away throughout the day. And it's just a very dull look with these. They don't look like anything that they do in the pan. So the same also goes for the number 1, the Super Neutrals. This one has more warm tones. I would say this one's a bit better, a hair more vibrant. The shimmers are a little closer to what they look in the pan on the eyelid, but it's the same thing. It's just not good quality. It doesn't build up in pigment, and the shimmers, they fade throughout the day. So both of these, it's been a while since I've had a truly bad quality eyeshadow palette. These are it. Let's go into number 17th. It's not a quality issue. I honestly just don't like the colors. I'm never going to use them. I'm never tempted to. But if you like these colors, this might be more for you. I know people get upset when I rank color stories, but this is about my personal preference. But I do let you know how the quality is and all of that. So I'm not the biggest fan of the mini Trio Chrome from Natasha Denona. I'm a big fan of the regular size Trio Chrome palette, but this is just too vibrant and too blue. And like I said in my review, I'm very happy for people who love a nice vibrant blue palette, and I'm happy that Natasha Denona goes there. I don't have anything bad to say about the quality of this. I'm just not working with blues, and I feel like when I put this on my eyes, it's pretty unflattering on my skin tone. I feel like whenever I look in the mirror, I'm like, taken aback whenever I'm wearing shades like these. Number 16, this one's a little difficult for me to rank so low, but I have to be honest with the quality. So this is the Pat McGrath Labs Bijou Brilliance eyeshadow palette in Sunset Romance. First of all, this color story has been done 1,000 times over by Pat McGrath. It's just a pink color story, so that's why it's definitely towards the bottom. And these in general, you'll see them sprinkled throughout this video. Personally, I really enjoy this formula. I do feel like it's a unique formula to the market, but these don't apply the best with the fingers. They don't. I think the mattes are nice and buttery smooth, pigmented, they build up, all of that, but the shimmers, if you apply with a brush, it looks really piecey. There's a lot of fallout. Some of them don't adhere to the eyes. It's pretty inconsistent in terms of which ones of the shimmers are good quality or not. If you use your finger, it's fine. It still can be messy. So I do think for the price point, I would not be doing my job if I didn't rank these a little bit lower because the quality is not perfect, but the way that they translate to the eyes I love so much. I love the finish of them that I will continue using these a lot, but this one color story wise definitely my least favorite. This next one from NARS, the Endless Night palette. This is number 15, by the way. It's not a bad quality palette. It's a fine quality palette, so if you are really attracted and drawn towards these colors, this is a good pickup. I don't think you'll be disappointed. But just over the years, this is the same NARS palette in different outer packaging. You have these colors so many times over again if you have experience with NARS eyeshadows. It's one of the most forgettable launches of the year, if you ask me. They did launch a 6-pan cheek palette that was amazing with this collection, but this does not stand out to me at all. If you have Pat McGrath, if you have Charlotte Tilbury, NARS is another one where there's a lot of pinks that they do every single time. But you know, if you don't have a lot of pinks and you want to try the NARS formula, this is a very good formula, but overall an extremely forgettable launch, so I had to rank it lower. Number 14. This one hurts me again as well. This is from Pat McGrath Labs. It's the Mothership Bijou Brilliance in Jeweled Temptation. So this one is ranking lower than the other one because I just don't like the color story as much. It's just the basic neutral warm shades. I will say the quality in this, it's good. It's solid, right? But it also is just okay for Pat McGrath. I do like that you get blushes, but the packaging is kind of unnecessarily chunky. You know, it just wasn't necessary. The mattes, super pigmented, blend well. The shimmers, a little ditzy here, a little inconsistent. Some are a little bit flakier, some are... It's just not the same good Pat McGrath formula. And I would be lying to you if I said that it was. I do think the majority of this palette is good quality, but it's not special Pat McGrath quality. It does seem dimmed down in quality for a cheaper holiday launch, if you ask me. I don't think you will dislike the formula in here, but I would put the money towards a better quality item from the brand. Number 13 is another Pat McGrath one. She launched so many for the holidays. This is the Bijou Brilliance Bronze Ecstasy. Now, I'm wearing this today. I love this color story. I will be using this a lot. This is where the video takes a turn into palettes that I do like. But again, I wanted to rank this higher because I love the color story so much, but I just couldn't because it's not perfect quality. And when you have a 5 pan palette, it needs to be perfect quality because every color counts, you know? So this shade is very messy. The shimmers here do not apply with opacity and a smoothness over the eyelid with a brush. You have to use a finger. A little bit messy. I do think that the mattes are really nice and easy to blend, but the shimmers, as gorgeous as they are and as much as I love them on the eyelids, application, it's just not at 100% quality. To get today's look, I used the shade here all over the crease and I just blended that out. And then I went in with this darker shade here in the outer corner for a little bit of depth. And then I finished off, I did a little demo with this shade right here with a brush, so you can see kind of how piecey and chunky it applied to the eyelid. And then I went in with my finger and it gave me this that I love. I love this color story. It's a beautiful palette. And then I went in with the dark shade again and I used it as eyeliner. So I personally really like this palette and I love this color story. I'll be using it a lot, but the quality is something that I can't let you forget. I overlook it though because I think the colors are so beautiful. Let's move on to number 12. This one's gonna surprise you, but it's just not my favorite launch of hers. The Natasha Denona Xenon palette. As you can tell, I'm not as into her holiday launches, but there is a crowd for this. I'm just not that crowd. I do find a number of these shades to be quite similar to one another, meaning these shades are redundant, and this is an expensive palette. You want every color to have its place. There's just a lot of repetitive shades that read very similar on the eyelid, but that is truly my only complaint. It's just, I'm not going to reach for this color story a lot, and I know a lot of people are. I do like the quality of this. The only thing that was not done well, in my opinion, is a lot of the shades are the same, but also they don't have a black in here, and I felt like a black was truly necessary. But other than that, beautiful palette. Beautiful quality. If this is something that you've been wanting for your collection, a color story like this, Natasha Denona did it for you. She's amazing. She's an amazing artist. So yeah, but that's why it did fall where it fell for me. I'm not going to use this palette a lot, and it's not perfectly done, in my opinion. Number 11 is the ABH Fall Romance palette. It's a nice palette, but it's not one that I'm going to get a lot of use out of. If you love a deep, smoky, or fall eye here, you're going to love this. I do think this is going to be phenomenal for medium to deep complexions, but also, the quality of this is a little bit drier than what I'm used to from ABH. I normally feel like the quality of their shadows is super buttery and pigmented. This is definitely drier. It's not bad quality, but I do love the butteriness of ABH. So there was something a little off with the formula here. That being said, still a very nice formula. Not a color story I'm going to reach for a lot. The previous color stories that they've launched before this, I liked more. So it's just not for me, and the quality is a little off, a little different is a better word. But like I said, if you want these beautiful fall colors, you love a good fall smoky eye, I think you will enjoy this one. Moving on to number 10, we have the other big Pat McGrath palette. This is the Mothership Bijou Brilliance in Starstruck Splendor. This is the one that you can get at Sephora. I definitely like this color story a lot better, but the quality story is the same in that it's good quality, but it's not good quality for Pat McGrath. There's nothing special about this formula right here, but luckily I'm on the side of the colors here. I really love the looks that I've gotten with them. I like the versatility of the greens, but of course I can get my everyday brown looks and mauve looks. So this is a good everyday color story for me. A couple of the shimmers here, a little messy, but for the most part, I do actually really like this palette, but it still does have that big chunky packaging. I don't think this is a must-have. I would say if you can get it for 30% off, I would definitely recommend it then at that point. But even with like the 20% off, I was like, but maybe 30% for Black Friday potentially. I think this could be worth it. Number 9 is another good one, a little bit boring, but in the best way possible. So this is from Danessa Myricks. It's the Groundwork Defining Neutral palette, and it's so funny that this is the palette that they came out with, and then this, if you know what the newest palette looks like, complete opposites. So this one, bonus points for being super unique. There's a pomade shade and then a powder shade in each little square here, and of course you can rearrange them. This palette is really unique in concept. It's made for eyes, lips, and face. I actually did do an in-person demo with this with Danessa Myricks. So my only critique is I'm just so accustomed to powders that I would have liked the pan sizes to switch, for this to be the pomade and then this to be the powder. I find powders a little bit more versatile. It's just what I'm more comfortable with, but that's personal preference. Obviously, Danessa knows better than I. But yeah, the powders are pretty sheer, and same goes for the pomade. I would have liked the pigment to be kicked up just a little bit more. That being said, this palette is great for beginners in that these blend like butter, like a dream, but it does take a little bit of building up, a little bit more effort than I would like for a lot of these shades. So that's why it's ranking where it's ranking. It's still a very good palette. It's still in the top 10 here, but definitely would have tweaked a few things to my preferences. Well, you know, Danessa knows what she's doing. I don't. But that's kind of what I would have done differently. Number 8, told you, Pat McGrath launched a lot of palettes. This is the Bijou Brilliance palette in Bourgeois Bliss. I love this color story. But again, I will admit, the quality, it's not all there. But this gives the most effortless, luxurious eye. These are a little bit more mauve colored, so I love that. Shimmers, you gotta use your fingers. There is definitely that caveat with this. Not amazing quality, but an amazing finish on the eyes that I cannot argue with. I couldn't not put this high because I've been reaching for this a lot because it just looks so effortless, so chic, so luxurious on the eyelids. So I love this, and I love this color story. I've got to say, other than that one color story that I wasn't a fan of, the best color stories she came out with. Number 7, quality, delish. So this is from Odin's Eye, and actually is their collection with Angelica, the Trick or Treat palette. So this is a October palette, very vibrant. That is Angelica's style, not necessarily my style, but I've had a lot of fun with this palette, I have to admit. It's also quite warm, but I do love these green tones here. And you can finesse a little bit of a more neutral eye with this if you would like to, but with Odin's Eye, I think their quality is so good. I think the price point really matches the quality very well here. I love the layout. If you watch my review on the most recent palettes that they launched, you know I wasn't a big fan of those. That was a weird back step for Odin's Eye because normally I'm obsessed. Like these two, so good. So yeah, just really great quality. Even though it's not a color story I'm normally partial to, the quality is so good. The shimmers are so good that I'm still inclined to reach for it. Number 6, this is the last Pat McGrath one. They've crept their way up, I'm telling you, I like them. I love this color story. So the Bijou Brilliance in Lunar Nightshade. This is so fun for Pat McGrath. Same quality issues. So maybe you don't want to purchase this. But again, I like almost dropped that on myself and I'm wearing a white shirt. I almost had a heart attack. But anyways, so beautiful on the eyelids. I'm a Pat McGrath fan. This finish, I'm just gonna leave it there. Just know I love that color story too. Number 5 is from Odin's Eye again. This is the other Angelica palette, and it's the Little Ghost palette. Now this color story, a lot more up my alley. If it has purples, I'm going to be drawn to it. There also is still a couple warm tones. Whenever I want to do a vibrant eye, I love the way that this looks, or whenever I've wanted to in the last couple of months. Again, very vivid quality, very easy to blend. The shimmers have the most beautiful reflection to them, and just color story wise, even though I'm not often inclined to do a vibrant eye, I'm gonna love it if I do it with this. And I've been going to a couple events lately where the theme has been color, so these have been good options. Number 4, okay, so this one, a little controversial because there are a lot of people who don't like this and say it's not worth it, but I like it. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautyverse palette. So first of all, the packaging, it's beautiful. So the top row here has some basic neutrals. It's a similar formula that you're going to find in the Super Nudes palette, and then one true powder in a pink. And then we have these glitter shades, which are easy glimmery shades to just use your finger and apply to the eyelid. Now, I can see why people say it's not worth the money. This is an expensive palette, but I do love the ease of use of this. I would have liked the matte shades to be a little bit more adventurous here because we have all of these shades from Charlotte Tilbury many times over already. No, but I really like this palette. As somebody who's a little bit more boring but likes glitter, if that makes sense, you know, I like a neutral eye but like with pretty glimmer on the eyelid. This palette is right up my alley. I do think the quality of this is nice. It is a bit expensive, so probably you should purchase this at a discount, but I don't think it deserves the hate that it's been getting. I think it's a very easy to use palette and really great approachable colors if you like glitter. Number 3, I couldn't knock it, the Danessa Myricks Beauty New Lightwork I Am palette, the complete opposite of what you just saw with the Groundwork palette, all multi-chromes. So fun. I mean, it probably should not have been ranked as high as I ranked it because that's not why, excuse me. It should not be ranked as high as I ranked it because I'm not reaching for this a ton, but I love covering my body in these swatches. It's just so fun. And I do think, you know, I've turned the corner because I used to be like, oh, this is so expensive for the Danessa Myricks, which that's still kind of the case, to be honest. But, you know, I feel like the quality of these are all really good. I did not like last year's. This year's much better quality. If you know the individual prices of multi-chrome and duochrome shades, for all that you're getting here, this is kind of a really good value, especially that we have these split pans here in the middle as well. This is kind of a good go-to place if you're starting your multi-chrome and duochrome journey to just have these all in one. I think it's a great option for makeup artists as well. You can pull these out, put them in your kit, and then have a ton of these fun options. And I think she did a really nice job with the formula. And I mean, just looking at these swatches, how could I not rank it high? It's so beautiful to my eyeballs. Okay, number 2. This is on good quality. So this is the Viseart Koyish Etendu palette. I did see they have 2 new palettes coming out. They are on the way. But this one is like a vibrant pastel palette, similar to their Koi palette, which was true pastels. This one, they're more vibrant. If you want a different explanation, they're like vibrant shades, but sheer, so that makes them more approachable. This formula truly makes colorful eyeshadows a more approachable option. As somebody who likes browns, as I've said a billion times in this video, I do not feel intimidated by this palette at all, and I've loved every look that I've created with this. It's been colorful, but still a little bit more understated and within my comfort zone. And not only that, the quality on these, they blend like butter. They apply with ease with whatever tool you choose, your brush, your finger. It's just on good quality. I really like this palette. I think it's highly underrated. I've always been, you know, an advocate here for Vizzy art. I feel like they do not get the love that they deserve, though sometimes, you know, the color stories are repetitive. Sometimes there is a little bit of inconsistencies in the formula. I'm not gonna act like that hasn't happened, but this one is like why I love Vizzy art. And then the last one, almost kind of a similar explanation. I guess I've been enjoying these more subtle, colorful shades, and again, on quality. It is very, very pricey, though, I'm not gonna lie. But this is the Esum number 4 Elevate Pigment Palette. So surprised this is number 1, but I feel like I haven't been showing you the looks that I've been doing. I've been reaching for them off camera, but this is kind of like the Danessa Meyers palette. Not really, but they do have like some duochrome shades here along the top, or like iridescent shades, some shimmer shades, some more vibrant deep shades here. And this is such a good formula that even though there's no mattes, this palette still looks good as the only palette on my eyes. I think the layout is super intuitive. You get minimal fallout with these shades. There's a lot of versatility with layering here, with there being iridescent shades, and then you can layer the iridescent shades over top of this row, just on good quality. I think my feelings of this and the Koyish Etendu from Vizzy Art is very similar. This is a colorful palette, but I do find it quite approachable and fun for the evening times. I would say the Koyish Etendu is definitely more wearable than this one, but this is such a versatile, good quality palette. I can't believe those ranked 1 and 2 because there's so many palettes that I love that launched this season, but I did have a lot to say about quality in this video, and those first 2, I mean, I can't say anything about the quality other than perfection. So those are my rankings of 19 palettes that launched this holiday season. I would love to know your thoughts down below on these palettes. Are you into them? Are you not? What palettes did you love? And please tell me, what do you think of the Pat McGrath holiday collection now that you guys have had some time to play? Like, it hurts me to admit, like, they aren't as good quality, but also, especially with these, the color stories were so good, I make it work. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I love all of the products that I talked about down below, as well as what I'm wearing, though I don't recommend my foundation because it's looking very cakey. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.